Okay, so the next one we're going to look at, again, still the 15-inch row spacing, going down on plant population to our 90,000 plants or seeds planted per acre. Again, first looking at branch potential, and this is the first time we see a pretty substantial amount of branching potential. So again, even though we are getting that inter-row competition going down in that seeding rates did allow us to put on quite a few branches. We had, again, we still had quite a few branches on that 90,000 at 7.5, but we did lose that main stem. So we really don't know how much branching potential that would have, but we got two really nice branches here that's got a pretty decent amount. Looks like we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pods on each one. So 14 total pods coming from those branches is a pretty good thing. They are set back maybe a couple of days from this main stem, so not as set back as we would like to see. The branch potential and having those a little bit later on maturity can provide some value in some instances to where we're really hot and dry, maybe when we're maturing out this main stem, but we put quite a bit of yield on these branches, and they're maybe a week or two late, so we can capture maybe more favorable conditions a week or two later. So there is some positives to have some of these branches, especially when we're set back on maturity a little bit, but it looks like they're fairly similar on maturity. Again, when we take a look at our bud cluster, we're looking right up here, going down to soil level at about 2 feet 3 inches, so about 1 inch off of our 120,000 plant population. So not that much difference between our height between our two populations at this row spacing. And again, still looking at pretty decent plant plant yield potential. We are starting to pick up a more kind of notable amount of tubing pods here, and you can kind of tell that we're trying to hold on to a lot of pods per node compared to our narrower row or our narrow row spacings, and we're still trying to put on a pretty significant amount, or looks like a lot of these have terminated themselves, but we were trying to put on a pretty good amount of pods still later here in the season. But with the pods that we have, we are probably maybe a week later in maturity than we were on the 7.5 inch spacing. So we are a little bit less filled across the board. So if we get poor conditions and we stop filling, or this kind of turns to maturity, we might lose some of this yield potential compared to the 7.5s. But it also could value from these cooler conditions and some rainfall events that we've experienced recently. So still really good yield potential. Starting to see a lot more pods got put on here. Good branching potential compared to the 120, but still good amount of yield potential here for this one.